For a great cup of joe, there's one thing you should know. Your morning brew can also be playful. Buff Boy Brewing guys make the temperature rise, and you surely feel naughty when you swallow our coffee. If you want some real heat, give your mouth a fine treat. You will want some more, rest assured. Buff Boy Brewing, you can't get enough of.
It's time for The Scribble, your weekly fix of celebrity chats, bizarre stories in the news, and basic random chatter with best-selling author and syndicated radio host Jeremy Bradley. Make sure your seat is in the upright and locked position and your barf bag is securely in place. Here's Jeremy Bradley.
Thank you very much, Larson. Jeremy Bradley here. This is The Scribble. Let's talk relationships today because we know the divorce rate keeps going up and up and up, and there's so many reality shows about getting married before you've even met the person. And then, of course, you've all heard about The Bachelor and Bachelorette, where you're basically on you have a time limit. There's a time frame before, there's an engagement. At the end of this 12 days that we've known each other, you better be proposing or it's done. And I don't know I know that's not the way relationships work. So what is to blame for the decline in relationships? Is there just a problem with humanity? Are we just not as devoted and dedicated to people as we once were? Has the internet and social media made it an unlimited dating pool? Right, back in the day, it used to be you kind of got into a relationship with somebody who lived nearby, perhaps in your city, most likely in your city, and you didn't have an endless feed of Instagram hotties giving you these half-naked pictures and, distracting you from the focus of your own relationships, right? So what is it? What is it really? That's what we're going to be talking about on the show today. I'm going to give you the email address right away so that if you get thoughts and opinions as we're talking about this, send me an email in real time, live at jbonair.com, because the Golden Bachelorette is on right now, and if there's one, it's going to be the old folks that are going to find love on a show like that. Really though? Really? We're talking about that on The Scribble, and it starts right after this.
Isn't it crazy that you wait for payday, but before you know it, you're strapped for cash again? It's time to stop blowing your money and become a smart spender with the book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate at cheapskatebook.com. Learn simple ways to cut costs at home every day and during special times of the year. Don't go broke at Christmas. Don't remortgage the house for a fancy vacation. The book is filled with tips to save you money throughout the year. Check out the best-selling book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate at cheapskatebook.com or on Amazon and iTunes.
Jeremy Bradley here on The Scribble. Let's talk relationships, okay? Because the Golden Bachelorette is on, and this is, when they did the Golden Bachelor, they made it seem like, okay, he's more established, he's a gentleman, he's not just looking to get laid, and they made it seem like there was a better chance of success. Obviously, we know what happened with that, and the guy, he was very smarmy. I can't think of the word. He's slimy. He gave me used car salesman vibe, where just the way that he talked, everything was just so smooth. Everything was just the right thing to say. And they always hype up the show that America fell in love with. America, maybe because they felt sorry that there's an old grandpa who lost, and he's still crying over the ex or the widow, or the dead wife. So at that point, you're kind of like, is he really ready for this? If he's not over it just yet, I'm not saying that he's not still mourning, but the fact that he's still crying for her maybe is a problem. And we know that the relationship only lasted, I think it was 3 months, because I tweeted that during the finale, which is, if you said that this was going to be over by April, you just want, maybe you have April in the office pool. Sure as shit, they were split and divorced and restraining order or whatever the hell was going on with them by April. So now you've got the Golden Bachelorette, and again, America fell in love with, which is why she's the quote-unquote star of the show. But, let's just... First of all, just when the last Bachelorette wrapped up, which was really only a few weeks before this premiere, there was that scandalous finale that her fiance basically ghosted her, and the engagement was over before the finale aired. Now, you've got the host, I call him Harry Connick Seacrest, Jesse Palmer, because he, another one, is just... And I realize that it's also partly the writers, but he's the one who tells you to grab your tissues. It's going to be an emotional... No. Us viewers at home, we're not all emotional wrecks like the studio audience that you bring in, that we've got to see the reaction cam of these people with their mouth wide open reactions to everything, and you see them tearing up. No, most of us at home are watching, first of all, for entertainment, because that's what television is. And secondly, we're laughing because these people are such fucking train wrecks that they're not even emotionally stable in their own world at home. Then you're going to bring them onto a TV show, which, as we know, has manufactured storylines, and whether they read their contracts or their agreements or whatever or not, it's been made public many years ago that the storylines will be manipulated, fabricated, whatever, for entertainment purposes. So when they had... Thank you, Jen was the name of the Bachelorette. They just told me that as I was speaking. So they have this chick, Jen, who... And by the way, I'm not being sexist, because I'm going to even say that the Golden Bachelor was a fucking douchebag. So it's not me being, a chick. No, they're all idiots, assholes, douchebags, whatever you want to call them. All of them. You could be the hottest person on the show, and I've even said that. Oh, he's a great guy, but he went on this show, and that to me just, you lose. I don't know. It's just, and I'm married, so it's not like I'm on the make for these people myself either. I'm fine, and we can talk about my relationship, next. But they go and say, I was reading, I don't know if it was Rolling Stone or what it was, that they just. The writers, the critics are all going and saying that they did Jen wrong, that they did her dirty, and that they just put her through this excruciating... No, fuck off with that. She knows what she's getting into. Maybe you could say that in the first couple of seasons when they really started to twist things, and they are not looking out for her. And I say this on Twitter every season when I live tweet. They are not looking out for her. They might set it up as though they give her this big glam photo shoot and they put her up in this mansion or the fancy hotels. They are not looking out for her. Period. Now, on the flip side of that, if you, Bachelor, Bachelorette, the star of the show, if you have any self-worth, you will make it very clear to the producers at the beginning, I have a say in what happens here. And they obviously don't have any power to do that. And you can maybe understand why they would not try to put their foot down, because it's like, oh, do I really want to ruin this chance of being the Bachelor, Bachelorette by, I'm going to look like I'm difficult? Well, at the same time, it is your life. So if you have to be difficult when it comes to this, and go to the producers and say, look, I'm not doing this. You're not manipulating me. You're not fucking around with my emotions. But it's also what you're signing on for. So when she made, Jesse Palmer went and said, are you ready to watch this, Jen? Are you ready to watch the devastating, embarrassing, humiliating moment of your proposal? And she said, do I have a choice? And I tweeted and I said, let's check with the lawyers in your contract. Nope. So, the critics go and blast ABC or the producers or whoever the decision makers are in this case. And sometimes they did say in their critiques by going, say, well, she kind of knows what she's getting into. And people will then go and say, well, you're blaming the victim. Is she really a victim here? Is she really? She's not. She's not. She knows. She's seen the show. She knows what the show is about. If you don't want to be treated that way, don't go on the show. Period. And then people will come at me and go and say, well, that could be like a woman who's wearing a tight shirt or something as she's walking down the street. Are you saying that she's asking to be raped or catcalled or whatever? Well, no, but at the same time, that you use your own discretion. If you don't want to be objectified, then don't have your fucking tits hanging out as you're slowly bouncing past a construction area. If really, and then let's just talk about the term victim or victimization. Let's say that, a kid runs in the middle of a street and gets smoked by a car. Well, automatically the kid is the victim because the kid is the smaller object and the car is the big car and the driver should be paying attention. Well, at the same time though, if you're not expecting a kid to come running out, who is the victim? I would say the driver is the victim because, they're the one who's traumatized because they just hit a stupid kid who ran out where they're not supposed to. So technically the victim is the kid because that's the thing that suffered the most damage or the most injury. But at the same time, it's kind of like, are they really a victim though? Really? I don't know. Or even like an adult who runs across the street and gets hit by a car. Well, I'm not the victim. I'm the stupid one But I would say the victim is the person who's traumatized from hitting me. So when you look at The Bachelor or The Bachelorette, the star, quote unquote, star of this show, you can say that, the producers did her dirty by putting her through, because on the last season finale, normally they would show the proposal or the final scene, and then they would bring the star and the final person out to talk about that. They did it differently, which was they're setting it up. We already know that they've broken up, basically. So they're telling us this like pre-story before they're showing us the story, maybe to build up, suspense or drag it out or whatever. But at the end of the day, she signed her life away. So they're going to do whatever they want to milk this 3-hour finale to juice the ratings, because they were sort of slipping as the season was going on. I don't know that she ever cracked 3 million throughout the season. And they are in the business of producing entertaining television. So if that's what they're doing, and that's what this person is agreeing to, that's what the contestants are agreeing to, that's, it's not like they pulled a fast one on her and all of a sudden we're like, haha. No, you've seen the show, you know how it works, it's part of the deal. Now, something that we've seen in recent seasons, though, there's been some terminology and lingo. So if you've watched the show for any length of time, you know that there's the term, the right reasons. Is the person on the show for the right reasons? And by that, they just mean, they're not doing it for social media or to go on Dancing with the Stars or to whatever. I think it started, if I'm not mistaken, because early on, by the way, we would have a bunch of the contestants and finalists, and later on in the seasons, we would have the actual quote-unquote star on the radio with me. And I think it was that country music guy, and I'm looking to my team to give me his name, but that was kind of the first sort of villain who was kind of exposed that he wanted to, thank you, Wes was his name, Wes, because he was on the radio with me. He was kind of, the first slimy guy who was there to enhance his career. And maybe it was happening beforehand, but it just wasn't widely talked about, right? Maybe people were secretly doing it, but this guy, Wes, was the one who really just kind of wanted to be a musician. Or music star. I don't remember if he wrote songs, but I remember he played guitar or something. And so then from that point on, it was kind of like, these are just like social media clout chasers and influencers. I hate that term, which is why I say it that way, influencers. And now we've seen the show devolve to what it is, right? Maybe the granny version isn't there, she's not, but maybe she is wanting to be on Dancing with the Stars after this. I don't know, right? It's different with every person. So, the right reasons is a term that's sort of been coined from this show. And what we've seen over the last few years is the term, or the word validation, and then also the term, you make me feel seen. So validation to me means I don't feel secure enough, so I need somebody to tell me I'm secure, or to tell me I'm pretty, to tell me I'm smart, to tell me I'm talented, to make me feel complete. That's what validation is, right? You need validation that you're a good person. You need validation that you're date-worthy. You need validation that you're lovable. You need validation that you're marryable. Anybody who tells me that they need validation, I'm going to say, I don't know that you're ready for a relationship. If my husband expected me to and first of all, by the way, he's a fitness model, and so he doesn't need me to tell him that he's gorgeous and has a hot body, because that's just, I manage his modeling career. It just goes without saying. Just as I don't need him to tell me that I'm a good writer, I don't need him to tell me that I'm smart, that I'm sarcastic, that I'm funny, that I'm whatever, because I just know that kind of stuff. And that's not me being cocky. That's just, I know that I'm a good writer. I have a best-selling book. I have, I've been writing for, over 20 years, professionally, not as a blogger. No, fucking newspaper column, best-selling author. I've got some street cred when it comes to writing. But I don't need that. I don't need somebody to, I don't have these emotional breakdowns of, oh my God, I'm not a good writer. Oh, I just suck at writing. Charles, tell me I'm a good writer. Charles, validate. No. And if he did that to me, I'd say, fuck off. Go. No, that's not, you're not a man then at that point. You're not a man. You're a weak, insecure, little boy. And I need a man. I need a guy who's going to pick me up, who's going to throw me down, who's going to... We won't get into that. That's maybe another episode. And then the other one, like I said, is make me feel seen. And the way that people use that is they will basically tell the person, it's a compliment. You make me feel seen. I feel seen when I'm with you. First of all, I'd never, okay, literally I know what it means. You make me feel seen means, in a crowded room, you make me feel like you're seeing me, or what I say matters. And so you're making me feel like when I'm telling you my opinion or my feelings, I guess you could interchange the word with heard. I'm feeling heard. But they say seen. And it's always really weird to me when you have a room, you've got one woman and then a room of 25 guys, and she's saying to the guys, you make me feel seen. Well, you're fucking in a meat market. I mean, of course you feel seen. How could you not feel seen in that scenario? I mean, right? But it's just strange when you have her then sitting down with them one-on-one saying, you made me feel seen today. And there's just something that's so strange. There's something so strange about that. I could understand one of 25 guys saying that you made me feel seen today in this group of people. But to be the woman and in amongst the shark tank of 20 men who are circling, you're telling them that they made you feel seen is very backwards to me. It's very backwards. I don't know. I've never had to sit one-on-one with my husband and say, we just had that discussion. Maybe we had a fight. Maybe we had an argument. You made me feel seen when we were that I felt heard today. No, that's not. No. So it's really weird because to me that screams I'm insecure. I need If you need validation, then I don't know that you're strong enough to be on the show in the first place. And obviously that's what the producers are banking on because they're gonna exploit that, right, with storylines or scenarios. They'll do that when they bring in somebody's ex, right? That the ex all of a sudden just flies around the world to Australia. They say on his dime, bullshit. And they just happen to tell him exactly where she is, where she's going to be standing down by the water, and all of a sudden we're going to have these cameras following. We know exactly when he is arriving. The host of the show is going to meet him in the hotel lobby. They're going to go together, or whatever it is. Okay, go ambush her, go set her up. I'm sorry, if the producers are looking out for your well-being, they're going to say, they're even maybe just give you the slightest heads up of, okay, we've got somebody who's going to come to see you. Just a heads up, okay? Somebody from your past or somebody is coming to see you. They don't even do that. They just throw her out there, put her, on the waterfront. They make her think she's filming something else. They are lying to her. Even the host said that. They're out to now, okay. They're setting her up then. That's a total setup. Right there, I would take the producers aside and say, not fucking cool. Not fucking cool. This is not airing. You don't do this to me. But they don't. Because again, either they've signed the contract and agreed to it so they know they don't have a leg to stand on, or whatever reason. But I would make that very clear at the beginning when I'm signing that contract. If I'm not cool with something, you're not going to fuck with my emotions. It's not happening. Period. We shut it down. If that means that you cancel my season, you take back the paycheck, you don't give me my fancy dresses, you don't whatever, fine. Because I would not put a price on that. And trust me, I am somebody who has made a living out of, whoring out pictures of my dogs. We license pictures of my dogs. I will shamelessly promote something if a company pays me enough and does, we have the radio platform and they send me shit and there's a check attached to it. I love the product. I absolutely do because I'm paid to love it. But I would draw the line there. That's where I don't care how broke I am, how famous I want to be. I would be saying, nada, not happening. I would make it very clear when I'm signing that contract. There's no surprises. You're not pulling a fast one on me. Manipulate whatever fucking storylines to make me look like an asshole you want. Fine. But in the shooting of this, you're not bringing in surprises. It's laid out from the very beginning how this is working. But no, not happening. Not happening. But again, like I said, I'm a secure person. I've been married for a long time, so I would never go on this show. I've never even been on a dating app before. So, there's always this discussion about, do shows like The Bachelor and Bachelorette, do they ruin relationships now? Do people go into these with really unreasonable expectations? We'll talk about that coming up on the Scribble right after this.
Ever had something to get off your chest but never had the balls to say it? That's a load of crap. SpeakFreeWithJB.com is exactly what you've been waiting for. Your chance to tell it like it is and not care what anybody else thinks. Have your say on issues of the day. Join newspaper and radio columnist Jeremy Bradley as he tells it like it is. Hundreds of thousands of people have stopped by, including some well-known celebrities who have had a chat with JB and speak candidly about what's really going on in the world. You can join them too. Have a rant or a rave. Be brave and head on over to www.speakfreewithjb.com now.
Who are the Kardashians feuding with now? What did that little thug Justin Bieber do this time? Who's getting hitched? And who's headed for Splitsville? Hear the latest celebrity news and gossip every day on Entertainment Wrap-Up. The good, the bad, the ugly, but mostly the ridiculously hilarious. It's all recapped in this daily segment at entertainmentwrapup.com. Have a laugh at the expense of the rich and famous when they take themselves way too seriously. It's 3 minutes of time-wasting fun at entertainmentwrapup.com. Check out Entertainment Wrap-Up at entertainmentwrapup.com. Brought to you by Speak Free Books.
It's never too early to start thinking about your next holiday. Have you checked out Mexico recently? From tequila tasting, swimming with horses, to ziplining through the jungle and watching whales and dolphins in their natural habitat, Puerto Vallarta has it all. Visit mexico.jbonair.com to see all the fun PV has to offer. That's at mexico.jbonair.com for hundreds of photos, interviews, and videos from around the tourist hotspot. Check out mexico.jbonair.com for all the fun. That's mexico.jbonair.com.
JB here, back on the Scribble. During the break, I had a bunch of other thoughts about Bachelor and Bachelorette come to me, so and then I went and I said, I don't want to talk, let me just keep on the show. And then they said, we're not going to have enough time for you to get to everything, so I'll risk it. But one of the other things about Bachelor and Bachelorette is it's angled, or it's framed as being this empowering thing, right? When there was that season where they had the two bachelorettes, and that was meant to be that they have the choice and they have the decision. And then it ended up being that they were sort of competing, the two gals were competing with each other. So it ended up becoming a little bit strange because you've kind of got, it ended up being a competition, I guess, between the two women. And let me also just say, there's lots of claims about the lack of diversity and how it's racist and whatever. I'm all about diversities. Let me put that out there right now. Don't call me racist. I'm saying, you need to have a representation of what your country is. If your country is a melting pot of a whole bunch of different colors and people and backgrounds and religions and whatever, show it. Give it to the people. But here's the thing. This is where I'm a bit torn as a broadcaster myself. Because I know when we have I own a swimwear and underwear company with my husband. We have models of different sizes. Generally, they are muscular. But I also just know when we have posted a guy of color that we look at the likes, we look at the traffic, and are people reacting to it? Are they commenting? And if, we'll go and say, okay, well, people aren't responding to him as well as some of the other guys, so we will give the other guys more screen time. You give the audience what it wants. So when it comes to the Bachelor and Bachelorette shows, if they have a black bachelor and he's not rating very well, you look at the producers would go and say, well, do we want to do another black guy right away? Because it could be that a black lead just doesn't work on this show, or maybe the guy just wasn't likable. It could be that as well. I'm not saying that it has to do with racism. I'm not declaring that. But I look at that from a content point of view and go, okay. Just like then you'll see people go and say, well, why aren't there, fat women on the season? Why is it always just these stick figures and whatever? Well, again, it goes back to, do people want to see that? I'm not saying it's right that people don't want to see it. I'm just saying the reality is, if people don't want to see it, you don't keep giving it to them. That's how you're going to lose your audience. So if on my radio show, well, actually we did this. I was going to say, if we're giving people what they don't want, why would we keep doing it? When we would do travel tourism programming, early on we would do museums and we would also do food segments. Well, then it's like, wait, why are we talking about food when people can't see it. It's on the radio. You're hearing it. And same thing at a museum. I'm talking about art, or I'm talking about sculptures, whatever. That's not my audience. My audience is like pop culture and shows like The Bachelor and American Idol and shit like that. Why am I going to a city? I know that my audience isn't going to go to a museum. Why are we doing this? And people are tuning out, right? We see it, and we would post the content online. We would look at the different pages and the downloads and see it. People weren't going to the museum stuff. So why are we doing it? Well, we're going to stop doing it because people don't want it. Obviously, they're telling us that by not tuning into it. Period. Right? I mean, that's just like, at the end of the day, your audience isn't watching. They're going to go away. And it's very hard to get them to come back, especially in today's world with so many different options for content and channels and networks and streamers and what have you, right? So also then too about The Bachelor and Bachelorette with this diversity thing, you will hear that as we did with the Bachelorette. Again, give me her name, you guys. Just the last one, not the Golden Bachelor, the one that got dumped on the Jen. Thank you. So, you know, she feels this weight on her shoulders. I've heard that term also too from the Black Bachelorettes. The weight on the shoulders of being the first, and it's this historic thing. Now again, take that 10 steps back, or 2 steps back, even 1 step back, to what I was just saying in the last segment, is the history of this show, the track record of this show is manipulating you, and putting you through an emotional roller coaster and making you, in this case of Jen, making you look foolish and putting you through this. So rewind, you just said, this is my moment. I have to, think about that though. Think about what we're going to be watching. I would say that's a slap in the face. Oh, I'm the first black woman they humiliated and traumatized, and there you go. So that's what you want. That's the weight on your shoulders. Is you want to? You see where I'm going? It doesn't work. That'd be like me going and saying I'm going to be the first gay whatever, going on a platform where they're basically probably just either going to destroy me emotionally. For the sake of money and ratings. I mean, really, ratings is money. That's kind of, they go hand in hand. But why would I tout that? If anything, I would take a stand and say, you know what, I'm the first gay man that turned it down because I had more self-worth than going on a show like that. Okay? I'm so not that gay that I can't even... Whatever. I married a masculine man, and we don't have any rainbow flags or whatever at our house. We're just the regular gays that most people like. We don't wear nail polish. Anyway, so so that's my take on The Bachelorette. Do I have time to then go into the whole thing about relationships? I'm going to take it anyway. I'm not even going to look towards that side of the room, and I'm going to keep going about relationships. Because it's become sort of like a people's choice. It's become very like, here's my group of people, and I'm going to now whittle it down, American Idol style, to pick out of 2 people or 3 people who is going to propose to me, or to whom I'm going to propose, right? Depending on how it works. Although we saw with Jen, she proposed to the guy, and that was going to be the big twist. No, the twist is you're going to be dumped before the finale even airs. Anyhow, and this is where you could call me an asshole and say you're so heartless for saying... She went on the show. She knew what she was getting into. The producers are the assholes. I'm sorry. I'm paid to tweet and mock the shit out of the show. That's what I'm going to do. Nobody takes the show seriously. Maybe the unemployed people in the audience who are crying and, having their mouth wide open reactions to everything and are going to boo people and give a standing ovation, hoot and holler, and make signs to hold up during the finale. You're fucking losers. You're losers. You're fucking losers. If you believe this show is about love, it's not. It's not. And if we don't cover the show anymore, on the radio, we don't interview the people is what I mean. But if I had one of the producers on the show, I would flat out say, is it about love? Are you really, do you care if she finds love in the end? Do you care? If she finds love and you have shitty ratings, your ratings are in the toilet, it was dropping 10% every week, would the season be a success if she got married and stayed married for the rest of her life? What do you think a producer of the show would say? Right? I mean, that's, at the end of the day, it's ratings. And it's if the dollars and the advertisers or whatever and the eyeballs are gone, you don't have a show anymore. So Are you going to go and say, but you know what? She was married for the rest of her life, so I'm okay with that my show got canceled because it was all about love, and that's how we end it. Fuck off if that's what you're going to... If you're the producer who's going to... I highly doubt it. And I mean, well, whatever. Okay, so now we are out of time. We're out of time for good, or what's going on? We're out of time for good. All right. Well, this has been fun. If you're watching The Golden Bachelorette or you are part of Bachelor Nation and you grab the tissue when Jesse Palmer tells you to, send me an email. I want to hear from you. live@jbonair.com. live@jbonair.com. I will talk to you same time, same place next week. Bye-bye, everybody.
We hear you chirping. Get scribbling. Tweet up the Scribble at The Scribble Show. Join the discussion with Jeremy Bradley. It's all going down right now on Twitter at The Scribble Show and at thescribbleshow.com. Want more Scribble? Check out thescribbleshow.com for past shows, celebrity interviews, cheapskate tips, and more. That's at thescribbleshow.com and on Twitter at The Scribble Show. The Scribble is a speak-free media presentation.